is this game going to be constantly about being a big guild, or is it going to be about the alliances you have? And it's almost like it's history happening, you know? You know, England's rivaled against France, but they're, you know, neutral with Denmark. You know, it's
Right. Well, there's no question there's going to be some of that. This reminds me of Dark Age of Camelot in a lot of ways.
Is that
As
how it
far as
was with that? Like, did they have that?
so, oh my God. So they didn't have the node system, but they did have realm versus realm versus realm. So three separate
Yeah,
realms
okay.
that were always in combat with one another. And now you couldn't even talk to the other realms. So you couldn't form a like official alliance, but it happened all the time where when one realm would have a lot of people on at one given time, the other two would just like by nature gang up to take them down. But it got more specific than that. There started being like there's all these castles in the game,
Mm-hmm.
when it was all about capturing the castles. And there were guilds that were forming that were like, we're going to capture and defend this keep, and this guild is going to capture and defend this keep. And so you had defenders at every keep, and it like became like a whole, there was like a almost like a de facto governmental system that was put in place. Like
Yeah.
everybody knew kind of who the alliance leader was, even though there was no in-game designation of that whatsoever.
Right.
Not even like a special
Or
color to his name or
Mariel.
anything.
Yeah, okay.
Nothing, like literally nothing, but everybody knew who he was. And if that person said, hey, we need to go over to this keep and start repairing it, everybody put their big boy pants on and took off,
Damn.
And I think you're going to have a lot of that. I think that, and I talked a little bit about this earlier when I was saying I think this is going to change the way people see MMOs, or it's going to be a giant leap forward in terms of MMOs. And this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about, where so many MMOs now are like, when you get to the end game, you're bored, man. You do
Yeah.
if you do raid, whatever, you know, that whatever they're boring at the end game. Like once you reach there, you might get 6 or 8 months of enjoyment out of it, but eventually you're going to run out of content and you're going to be bored.
Right.
And then you're going to be screaming for more content, right? Where with this, like, there's going to be literal political intrigue 24/7.
Yeah.
Every day there's going to be people trying to usurp the throne and come up and take out this leader, and you're going to have the big power guilds are going to have people trying to infiltrate each other's guilds, and they're going to be going down to the military node down the way and letting them know, hey, by the way, if you don't become our vassal and like, you know, do our beck and call, we're going to destroy your node. So
Right.
you might as well get it done. And that stuff's going to be happening all the time. And so you're never going to be like, I don't want to log in today because what am I going to do? Jump around like that. That's my I literally just jump around the capital city because I'm bored of whatever MMO. So I don't think that you're going to encounter much boredom. I think it's going to be drama. It's drama. They're going to
It's like a giant
drama.
game of Game of Thrones, dude, but like
Yes,
on a more
yes.
individual level, you know.
Yes,
It's pretty nuts.
There's going to be drama all the time, and people are going to be wrapped up in all the drama, and more than probably any MMO that has come out in 20 years. Like, you're going to be known by your reputation in this game. People are going to know the good PvPers because they're going to be the ones that wreck people's nodes.
Yep.
People are going to know the jerks. People are going to know the heroic people who jump in to help save nodes when they're being attacked or defend caravans, etc.
Right.
You're going to be known if you're an awesome crafter.
That's another cool thing for all the crafters out there. You'll be known hard, man.
You'll be known like
because I think you can sign your weapon too, which is cool.
Yes, you do sign your weapon, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of like really intricate things that you can do to weapons that you create. And so if you're known as the guy who can make, the perfect weapon for this build or whatever, you're going to become known for that.
Right.
So I think that a lot of those things are going to make this game, like I said, more interesting and more compelling to log into on a moment to moment and day to day basis.
Right. Yeah. And dude, I don't even know where to like begin, like that's what I feel like in 6 months down. And this reminds me of Guild Wars a lot too, because what you were saying with Dark Age of Camelot, dude, that's what happened in Guild Wars, but it wasn't that fun in Guild Wars. That's why I'm like, oh,
Right.
there's
I never liked Guild Wars.
there was something missing there. Like people did it, and like you look at the map, and the different regions would always be changing and shifting, which was really cool. But I feel like since it was 3 sides, it wasn't really that compelling. But the fact that it's like 300 sides is like really cool, because it's a lot more personal, and everything that goes into this game is going to be tied back to your citizenship of the node above everything else, like, because if nodes are the forefront of the game, minus guilds, minus all your other affiliations, and we'll get into affiliations, but your citizenship of that node, that's where like your heart's going to lie. It's like your city, your town, where you grew up, everything's going to be inherent. And when it comes crashing down, man, that's what I mean. Are you still going to want to play the game?
I just did some quick math, and this kind of just blew my mind a little bit, because you said there's going to be 300 sides, and I started immediately.
I think it's over.
Well,
I think it's 314 or 3 something like that. 314 different nodes.
Oh, the different nodes. Okay.
Right.
That's not what I was going for. Although that's true. That's technically true. I was thinking in terms of guilds. Like, how many guilds are there going to be active on a server? And so
more than that, probably triple that.
Well,
900 guilds. If there's that many.
There's 10,000 people on a server as a cap is what they want.
Divided by 300, if they do that.
I divided it by 50. Let's say that there's an average of 50 members in a guild. That's 200 guilds.
Mm-hmm.
That's not that many guilds.
No.
Now maybe there's only an average of 15 and it ends up being 700 guilds or whatever. But then that's going to be a situation where there's going to be every node's going to be run by a giant guild that everybody else is going to be bottom feeding.
Yeah.
That's I think that's the Pareto distribution. That's going to happen.
I hope that it doesn't, dude. Honestly.
No, it's a law of nature. You know
I know,
that, right?
I know, and I know, like, especially with payoffs, like, it just makes it more tight, like enabling them to do that.
No, it's one of the laws of nature is the Pareto distribution, and it governs the size of cities and the mass of planets and the height of trees and all kinds of things. Like, it's an immutable, can't be changed. It's like gravity. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
And what that says is that people are going to stack up at the top, people are going to reach the top, and everybody else is going to stack up at the bottom with nothing. Like, that's what happens.
That's the human race, ladies and gentlemen.
It's the human race.
Yeah.
But it's not just the human race. Like I said, it governs the size of cities and the mass of planets. It's just what happens.
Yeah.
So that's gonna happen. It's just gonna be a matter of, are you gonna be one of the people who's successful and reaches the top of the pyramid, or are you gonna be one of the people stacking up at the bottom?
Yeah. What do you think about all this, Mal? As my right hand man over there.
Gotta shoot for the stars, man.
Amen to that, dude.
I mean, if there's a guild out there in whatever server that we're gonna be playing on that does reach that top and they're dominating server, they got a metropolis and nobody else is gonna touch them for however long this game lasts, then hey, fuck it, that's great. You made it. But if our guild could be on top of that, that'd be even cool too. I mean, yeah. I can go either way on this. I'm not opposed to any way that we go.
Right.
As long as we're all just having a good time and just screwing around and doing our thing and keeping to ourselves, I don't think it'd be too much of an issue.
Yeah.
Did you say keep to yourselves?
Well, we're orcs, bro. You don't want to come fuck on me?
Well, what I'm saying is, like, just messing around with like that top guild to where we're just like we're poking and prodding at them, and they come and just destroy our place. Like, no thanks. You just leave us alone. We'll be fine.
Yeah. In my experience in games like this, that's not how people act. People immediately go to that
fight mode, dude.
Feel that.
I don't even remember what I was saying. You interrupted me, man.
Sorry, dude. I know. I don't know why this shit keeps fucking up, but it does. Anyway, so what I wanted to say though, I do think that everybody might be bottom feeding, but I think on the counter to that, I think that people might just get kind of threatened or feel threatened by those big guilds and want to just take them out, you know? Like they're going to be the ones that are going to be constantly having to defend their node just because like, oh, they're the best and everybody wants to be the best. So it's a dog eat dog world type of mentality.
Yeah. I mean, to some degree, there's definitely going to be people trying to go against them, but it's just like,
maybe once the dust settles
it's just,
after a while.
It's just like an economy, you know, like, you know, you'll hear a lot of talks about 99% of the wealth in America being in 1% of the hands of 1% of the people or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, but it's also the case that 99% of the world's wealth is in 1% of the world's hands. And it doesn't matter what we do, doesn't matter which economic system you use, nothing matters. Everything accumulates at the top, and then there's a bunch of bottom feeders. It's what happens in life in many, many different things. And so I don't think that you're going to see a situation where the people who rise to the top, it's not going to be just numbers. It's because I could put together a guild that has 500 or 300 people. You just invite everybody and eventually you have 300 people. Right. But it's the people who go to the top are going to have 300 people, but they're going to have number one quality or to some level of quality. But they're also going to have very competent leadership, multiple levels of competent leadership. Right. And I do remember what I was trying to say is in these games, there's a couple other games that I played that have a similar style, a little smaller scale, but similar style. And what happens, like Ark, have you guys played Ark?
No, I haven't played Ark. No, I know that that's very much what it's like though. And
it's but 7 Days to Die, Ark, Last Oasis, you name any of these survival games that have PvP element on the official servers. Like the only way to play the game and have fun on a PvP server is if you do it on the smaller servers. But on the official servers where they have large population, if you build a shack on the island next to the water, in an hour somebody comes along and tears it down, and they'll let you know you can join us, you can join our guild and make our guild bigger and better,
or you can get
have
fucked.
Nothing.
Yeah,
you can have nothing. That's what they're going to tell you. Yeah. And it's going to be the same thing here. It's going to be you can become a vassal of our node and you can come defend us if we get attacked, or we will destroy your node. And so then, and they do that about 20 times, and then it don't matter how many bottom feeders try to rise up against them. It's already been. It's already
It's played out enough.
Conclusion.
Yeah.
And like life experience and being a scientist and looking at things from a scientific perspective and stuff. That's what's going to happen. I'm not saying it might happen. I'm saying that's what's going to happen. Right. It's just a matter of, are you going to be that top level guild? Are you going to be a vassal to that top level guild, or are you going to be on the bottom wishing that you were one of the other two? That's what happens.
Yeah. But I'm also like, what do you think determines the best guild? Like, is it going to be Alliance? Is it going to be 300? Like, or is it going to is there going to be some,
I think the biggest part it's going to be is
what determines that?
The biggest part I think is going to be is coordinating and having those alliances.
Yeah.
The biggest
having
part
the right friends.
How you're going to play the game, how you're going to get around those obstacles with the people that you have. So I think that's going to be the biggest part of how a guild is determined to be the best.
Yeah. Yeah, that
leadership.
makes sense.
I mean, it's all about that.
Yeah, if you can be good at the game, and you could be top tier in combat and whatever, but if you can't lead a team or get people together to come with you, you're not really going to get anywhere. I don't think you can't solo everything.
Yeah, well, yeah, unless you're a paladin, right?
Yeah. If you're a paladin, you can solo everything.
Yeah. So we'll get into it just to kind of move on here. Affiliations, which I was just saying earlier with the node affiliation and your node citizenship. But you're going to have that. You're going to have alliances. You'll have your guilds. You'll have your parties. You'll have your raids. You'll have your family. You'll have your religion, and then you'll have your society. In that order too is the hierarchy. So those are the different affiliations that you can have within Ashes of Creation. Guild housing, for the people that do like guild housing and whatnot. The guild housing really refers to the guild halls, the guild fortresses, and the guild castles, which is pretty monumental in its own right. Guild halls, though, guild halls may be placed, like we said, in guild freeholds or in the nodes. An in-game guild hall may only be claimed by patron guilds of that node. These have different perks and benefits to the halls placed on freehold plots. When a guild reaches a certain level, its guild master is granted a freehold certificate to enable placement of that actual guild hall. So that's like how it's going to work. If you guys are wondering on how to actually like place your build your guild hall, you're going to need that certificate in order to actually be able to make it, you know. And I wonder too, like as a patron guild, do you just like keep contributing and then you just get a spot once you unlock it? That's what I'm thinking, you know.
Yeah.
As your node levels up and whatnot. Guild halls are objectives in guild wars, which is a pretty cool thing about guild halls in itself, that they're going to be centered around the actual partaking of guilds versus guild combat. Guild halls can be destroyed by a successful node siege. This contrasts with guild fortresses, which can be sieged in a guild war. So that, I think that's like more so those castles that you were talking about, like in Dark Age of Camelot. There's going to be a lot of fluctuation with those within the guild wars. But since guild halls in AOC aren't behaving as a traditional sense as opposed to other guild halls, because we see it in other games, a lot of guild halls are just like either, I remember in EQ2, like you'd go to the guild hall, but it wouldn't even be in a different world. Like you were in an instanced type of thing. But how do you guys feel about the approach of being able to actually like do activities within PvP in your guild hall that it's like based around?
Well, the idea is really cool. The only thing that I like is it going to take place in the guild hall?
It can. Yep, it can.
Okay. See, I guess because I'm always thinking about min-maxing and stuff, I'm already thinking that there's going to be a meta to how you decorate your guild hall.
Oh, on on obstructions or something. Like you got a big statue in the front door. You can't get in the front door.
Yeah, like I guarantee you there's going to be a meta on how you build your guild hall for maximum defensive capability.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I always hate stuff like that, because then it's like, well, I wanted to decorate my guild hall and make it look cool and be like a shrine to all the accomplishments our guild has had. But if we want to keep the shrine, the guild hall, we better put that statue in front of the door. You know,
yeah,
whatever
right.
it is.
Yeah. Or let's put this bench right as you walk in. You know, you hitting the table. You know,
or do something so that you're building a system of corridors and halls, and you never know when somebody's going to jump out at you. It's basically one of those Halloween jump scare houses. I forget what they're called.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's an interesting concept. But yeah, you know, fighting it in your guild house, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, they go on to say guild halls are the ultimate expression of the guild's power. In Ashes, these structures will serve as the focal points for a guild, offering any guild who constructs them a whole host of benefits as well as customization options. So there you go. You know, that's pretty cool. Like, I like guild halls. I think they're always a fun thing, but I love that they're kind of tied to PvP and decorating them and how you decorate them. And like that, look at this fucker's guild hall. Look at this guild's guild hall. They look like they're like, you know, they got the presence.
Is one of the coolest things about it being on the open world as opposed to in an instance. So
you can see it, you can visit it.
People will visit it. I remember when I first started playing Ultima Online way back in like 1999, I was blown away walking around and seeing people's houses and seeing how intricate they were and how well decorated they were, and you know, the castles and all of that stuff. Just blown away. And then there were people who started making money in the game, in-game money, as interior decorators. Like, I'll come to your house and decorate your house up for you and make it look awesome if you pay me.
I don't doubt that that's going to
Um,
be like a little proxy profession or whatever,
100%. There's
de
no
facto
question. And so as I started playing other games later on, Dark Age of Camelot and on up and up and up, um, they always have some type of housing in the game, but it's always instance. It's always I'm decorating it for me because I'm the only person who's ever going to come here. Maybe one or two of my friends, but that's it. And so the whole idea of interior decorator kind of fell by the wayside. I found that I really, really enjoy the idea of having my own house in a game way more than actually having it, because I don't want to spend my time decorating it. Especially, maybe I would if people were going to see it, but they're not going to see it. So who cares?
Right.
So I really, really love that it's going to be on the open on the map, and people will be able to see it, and people will be coming in and looking at it and checking it out and all that stuff. So I think that part's pretty cool.
It's funny too on how they're actually going to balance that too, because there's like kind of a prime real estate type of thing with the houses on the actual node. This is like a whole nother episode, is housing for sure, because it's so intricate. And if you guys don't know too much about player housing, go ahead and check over to the forums or the wiki and the forums too. But there's so much information on housing. But yeah, I agree. I think that's something I like the idea of it more so than I like actually doing it, dude. Yeah, 100%, dude.
These games always launch without housing, and they're like, we'll release it at some point. That happens like every time, and so it's always like, oh, we're gonna get housing next month. It's finally coming, and then it gets here, and you spend an hour doing like some half-assed decorations, and then you're like, well, it's raid time, so I'm gonna go raid, and then I'm gonna do some PvP. Oh well, I should go back to my house and decorate it, but oh well, there's that dungeon over there I want to do, and you never go do it because
we're
it doesn't
getting
matter.
attacked or whatever.
But I remember I spent hours decorating my house in Ultima Online. I went all out on that thing. So, and I think that's the difference. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Guild halls unlock actions a guild can perform within a node, allow guilds to participate in the shareholder system. We'll get into the shareholder system. So guild castles. Do you guys know much about guild castles before I talk about guild castles? No?
No.
I know that there's like a very, very small number of them, and more or less it'll be the elite of the elite of the elite who sit atop them.
Yes, basically.
And also the leader of the guild that owns the castles, each one of them gets a flying mount. Is that right?
Yep. And some of their officers might get a flying mount as well.
Nice.
But which is fucking insane, dude. I love how they're keeping that like to a minimum, because once WoW added flying mounts, I just felt like it started to go downhill. The world felt so smaller, especially with the Zeppelins and all that already. Yeah. So basically what the guild castle is it's its own node, right? So they act independently outside of the regular node system. So you have the guild castle as the center node, or the parent node is a common term used, and all the vassal nodes around it. There's 3 vassal nodes to every castle node. And all the castle nodes will have to go through a stage. It happens in a 4-week period. So the first week is for one node of those vassal nodes. The second week is for the second node. Third week is for the third node. And then the fourth week is to actually siege the castle. But that's on Castle Warfare. But basically, 3 vassals.
Wait. Hold on.
What?
I just want to make sure I understand. You can't just siege a castle anytime you want to. It's like a 4-week process.
Right. You cannot just go up to the castle and this week it's organized for this date. You can organize it, but you have to go through the nodes in order to go to the castle.
Right.
Per se.
I just really love how much thought that Steven and his team have put into essentially doing everything they can to not make it be a numbers game, a Zergfest game.
Right. Because they know, dude. They're players. They know. They know how it happens.
Right. And they really have put a tremendous amount of thought into trying to just not have it be a pure numbers game. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
Yeah. Good job, Steven and team. Yeah. So to get to the castle, all right. But within the castle, you have a variety of benefits as a guild. For one, you get taxation over all those nodes that you control. So those 3 nodes that you control, you tax them. all the you can send out special caravans. There's primary antagonists within the storyline that's integrated within the actual castles for all the questers out there. When you go into the actual castle to fight the castle to take it over first time, no one's ever taken the castle over, and you're going to go inhabit it as the first guild. You will have to fight a top tier end raid boss to get that castle. And that is a top tier end raid. So I know you like that, Zill.
Yes, I do.
There will not be a relic to capture. Instead, whichever guild had the highest contributed DPS to the raid boss will capture that castle. So I don't know if that could be a little Zerg festy with the multiple guilds going in there. Castle nodes.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I think it's if you're trying to fight this raid boss, you gotta contest the fuckers that are trying to contest you. You know.
Oh, it's the ones who do the most damage to the raid boss.
Boss to the raid boss. Yeah. We'll capture the castle.
They just whatever.
Yeah,
I never liked the whole thing about the DPS being the thing because it's like, okay, well, I'm a tank, so now I'm not contributing to downing this boss. And you're going to have situations where somebody's going to go in. Let's say it's 10 men is the maximum you can have in there, and I'm just putting a number on it just so we have a number. And so you have a team that's comprised like a traditional raid team with like 2 tanks and 2 healers and the rest are DPS. And then another raid team is there and they literally are just waiting for you to start the fight so that they can jump in and they have 10 DPS. That way they can straight out DPS you and you can't kill the boss without the tanks. And so they're just waiting for you to start the fight. And so then you end up having to kill them or they kill you. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, they're creating conflict, and Steven has said multiple times they're trying to create conflict between players. So there you go. They're accomplishing.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's necessary, you know. But we'll see. So guilds have a period of time. So this is back for the actual like sieging of it. Guilds have a period of time to level up in order to siege these castles. I think basically you have like time to level up your actual guild in order to actually fight against them. Don't really know too much on that.
I would interpret that as a level up the castle, but
yeah, maybe you level up the castle, or maybe you even level up the nodes, you know, as you try. Guild nodes. Oh yeah, and another thing too, if a castle gets taken over, all the nodes around it go back to stage 1. So you're gonna have to level those up regardless.
Shit.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure too, you can only siege the castle if the nodes are at level 3. All the nodes are at level 3, I want to say. But there's 5 castles around the world, and then it's a reciprocal relationship between the castle and its nodes. This is Steven here. There are benefits granted to citizens of the castle, and the longer the castle remains in the hands of its incumbent guild, the stronger the benefits become overall. So they increase with time. But at the same time, that represents a greater incentive to attack the castle. Guild castles provide benefits and trophies for guilds that capture and control them. These benefits increase the longer the guild holds its castle. There are levers and dials that are present to both the owners of the castles as well as the elected officials of the nodes that during their administration, this is the political side, they have the ability to impact and influence the region around them. So i.e. probably bring up the taxes, pick this building to build next, go for this quest, probably different like highlights and stuff what to do, which is pretty cool too. Guild castles exert a king or queen presence over nodes within their region. And then the administration part was levy taxes for the purpose of defense, additional taxes already imposed by node governments, active events and abilities that benefit node citizens under their rule, establish special relationships with mayors to help build up the 3 dedicated castle nodes, unlock additional types of buildings and nodes, and then exert control and pressure over the 5 economic regions. Dude, this within itself, I feel like the castles are just so in depth, you know, like you could just go on a node that's a part of a castle as a citizen and not do anything else for 5 years if you really wanted to, you know, just on how it's going to play out, you know, but Then again, I feel, and this is a question I had for you guys, as this will be a monumental feat of achievement, what's your stance on guild castles in AOC and why?
I have
Seems like
more
an
of a
awesome system.
question. Yeah, I mean it is an awesome system, but I have more of a question than an answer.
Yeah, go ahead,
So
man.
going back to how you take down a castle, you
Mm-hmm.
have to take down the 3 nodes before you actually go to the castle
Right.
and siege it.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if you take down 1 node, but you're not able to take out that 2nd node on the 2nd week? Does it start over, or
Yeah,
do you
you
just
stop.
keep
You stop your
going?
siege.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you said that you're not able to attack the castle until those nodes are level 3.
Right.
Can you level up the castle without leveling up the nodes? Are the castles not going to be able to be attacked even though they can continuously level the castle and just forget about the
I
nodes?
don't know if you can level the castle. I think the castle is just the castle. I think the only thing you're really leveling is the nodes, and I think because they operate outside of it because I think they want the nodes to fluctuate pretty heavily, and I think that there's going to be a lot more turnover rate with those nodes going up and down. They don't want, and I think that was with before when it said guilds have a period of time to level up in order to siege these castles. So you have time to level up the actual nodes. Because like if you're fighting a level 1 node as a guild, dude, what defenses do they have versus a level 3 node? Like it's not going to be fair. You'll just run right through them, it's like you hit the 3 points and then you take the castle. It'd be too easy. I think that they're trying to allow a period of time. And I think that's why it's broken into weeks, is because that first node, everyone focuses on that first node to level it up, to do all the questing around it, to get it up there so that it could be sufficient enough to actually defend. Otherwise, it's just going to be a fucking cakewalk for the guys attacking, and they just don't want it to be a steam fest, dude, and it just constantly just roll through all the nodes. There's a dedicated week to each node to be able to actually defend. But
So I have a question.
mm-hmm.
Does it say anything in there, or does it say at all if like there's a limit to the number of attacking parties on a castle?
You mean like in the actual like war of it?
Like, okay, could my guild and your guild both be attacking separately, independent from one another?
No.
Okay, so it's only one at a time?
It's not one guild. It could just be one siege. So say they do 250 to 500 people or whatever the cap is, whoever signs up for that siege is in that siege. You can get people that aren't even in your guild that are in that siege. But the people that are defending the siege are the only one, or the citizens. It can only be the citizens.
Okay.
So if there's only like 100 citizens for a castle,
Versus 250, you're only getting 100 people. But you have walls, you have probably catapults, and you have a bunch of other shit. But that's not on the other side of the fact, because you can bring that stuff in the siege. I think a lot of the gameplay in what's it called, Apocalypse, they showed a little bit of that, and there's trebuchets throwing fucking boulders at the castle walls, and they were crumbling. So the castle actually destructs. So it's pretty cool.
I'm sorry here. I'm spotting a loophole, and I'm trying to.
Your mind's going to work, huh?
Yes. And so I'm trying to figure out what systems they have in place to limit this loophole, because if I thought of it in 5 seconds, somebody else is.
All right. What's your loophole? Put it out there so they can defend against it.
Well, no, I will.
That's why I like the show, because we come up with topics that like are kind of pitfalls in the system,
Right. So, oh God, I'm being attacked.
He's raiding right now, guys. He's that hardcore.
Yeah. I actually was trying to not do anything that would cause me to get attacked in game, so that I could just focus on talking to you guys.
Yeah.
But anyways, so if you can only have one siege going, can you limit who's allowed to join the siege, or do you just start the siege and anybody who wants to join in on it does?
Yeah, they can sign up. Yeah.
So literally just anyone can sign up?
Anyone that's not a citizen of the vassals of the node, or Yeah.
Okay.
Or of another node of the 3 nodes or the castle. Yeah.
Okay, so I was just thinking of an alliance where, this castle over there and that castle over here, like team up together and they start a siege against each other every time,
Oh, right.
every
Yeah.
week. Don't actually do anything, have all their citizens sign up so that the majority of the people signed up for the siege are people who aren't interested in the siege. They literally don't do anything. The siege fails, and then after a week they just go do it again.
Yeah.
And they just continuously fail the siege on purpose, to maintain a stranglehold. And as long as you have somebody there to like start the next siege as soon as the previous one ends, you've locked down that castle for into perpetuity.
Yeah, I get what you mean there. I think that how they're combating that is basically that anybody can sign up, and I think also they're you only can do it a one time per month, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's how it is because it's each week. It's a progressionary thing. And yeah, I think also
One time per month would do it because when you failed, you'd be done.
Well, that's another thing too. Like, so if this castle and this castle try to go against each other to protect what they have, basically, is what you're saying, is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Well, maybe even, I was trying to think, maybe that other castle or something, or a different node, they're getting attacked, or they're getting sieged. So you go to help these guys, you get sieged by a different guy. But there's an actual established date, and it's going to happen on the most high server population time of the day,
Right.
so that majority of the people that are actually playing the game can incorporate themselves. But if they do 500 versus 500, it's going to be hard to just put up 500 people to just go ahead and just fail the siege every month.
You wouldn't need 500.
Well, no, but 500 people can sign up though.
Right, but if you have 200 sign up, you've reduced their capability from 500
that's
to
true.
300. I don't know. I know that in games like this, there's a game that has some similarities to this one called Darkfall that released a long time ago, PvP game, and people found the most ingenious and straight asshole ways you can imagine to game the system and get around the different.
That's just a big loophole. Yeah, I get that. I mean, dude, there's probably going to be that. That's the thing. Like, you really can't do it until people start doing it,
Right.
You can't fight against it.
I'm not complaining. I'm just looking into the future and being like, okay, so
right. No, that's good you bring it up though.
That they could, a bunch of players can figure out how to
right.
game the system.
Right.
I'd be the asshole that gets someone on board on that, and then I'll just go take the castle anyway.
No one's fighting, and you just go and take it.
Well, what I was thinking was you get into that like reciprocal relationship with another castle, another node or whatever, and you go back and forth and you help each other out and all that stuff, and then when you're ready to strike, you actually commit all your guys to attack and then actually do.
Right.
And then take over their
castle. That could be another.
Like, so in a situation like that, you could always be putting yourself out there for that type of end.
Put a big target on your back, but I mean,
yes, for
fuck
sure.
it.
I mean, it's even like, all right, so I've been seeing a lot of guilds wanting to go take over this node. Then they want to go have a castle. Then they want to have a metropolis. Then they want to do all this. I'm like, dude, you ain't going to be able to do all that shit.
Right.
You focus on one thing for your guild to do. And then once you hit that goal, go to the next one, have that streamlined. Right. But I mean, how are you going to be able to really defend defending a castle will be like a full-time fucking job, every month, you're going to be under attack. So there's no real,
I think it would really come down to a point of where you'll own that castle for a while and just like, yeah, this is all great. And then it's going to get to a point where, you know what? Fuck it. You guys can have the castle this time. I really don't want to deal with this shit anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about the headache of running the damn castle as the guild, cause you influence 3 other nodes around you with everybody around you. So, I mean, I as a guild leader, I look at castles. I think they're really cool, and I think that'd be a really fun system to do as a player. But for the guild, like, I just don't want any part of that, just because I know it's just going to be one big giant fuck fest, dude. Really, in my opinion.
I mean, that is going to that. I think that is going to be. It's going to be like the stock market. It's going to be the playground of the elite.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody else is going to be gonna people will dabble in it and pretend like they have something to do with it, but it's not. It's going to be the most elite of the elite playing in that world. I think that's how that's going to work out.
Yeah, just to get flying mounts. That's only going to be the big thing. Just to have a flying mount.
No, you got to think about that. It says that you can set tax rates and influence different things around.
You get a percentage of it as your guild too, as the tax of the castle.
People are going to use the power that comes with that to influence people and get, garner more influence and obviously garner more wealth and convince people to do things, bribery. Oh, well, we'll change your tax rate if you give me this or that or whatever. Like I have no question that there's going to be massive benefits to holding a castle.
Oh, dude.
It's just you do it.
Like even, like, you foresee like this guy's growing in power. So you do what you can to stop him. So like, you go to the people that are attacking him, or you go to him specifically and you're like, I'll give you $100K to fail this siege. Cause like you can see a problem coming up and you feel that your castle's in jeopardy or your node's in jeopardy. I could see that. I mean, that's like really political, dude. That's kind of fucked up.
It is, but it's more real life laws.
It is real life laws. Yeah. It's scary.
It's real life law that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you look around the world and I don't care if you find yourself on the left, right, or center, like governments all around the world are corrupt as you could possibly imagine. And it's because they have power and then they're going to use that power to secure more power and more influence. And that's what they do. And there's no question that's what's going to happen in this game as we go along, is people are going to acquire power and then become corrupted by the power and then do everything, spend all their time trying to generate more power.
Right. Yep. There's definitely going to be those guys. Guild War features are currently still in the design stage, but the overall goal for this, of what Steven and the team want to actually have, they want the Guild War system to be more of an objective-based type of system. Not one that's as heavily impacted as the castle sieges, but one that's a little bit more fluid and more occurring thing than the castle sieges. So, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. They kind of want to, it's like a downscale to the castle sieges, because castle sieges will be monumental, or at least that's how they portray it, and that's how they want it to kind of be. So, but yeah, do you guys like that? Like, objectives are within Guild Wars, like it's not just a whole PvP binary team versus team. It's, you got to go in and capture a flag, or you got to go in and bounty hunter this guy or protect this guy type of thing. There's a whole possibilities, I feel, with what they can offer with that.
Possibilities. I'm 100% on board with that. I remember Ultima Online had Guild Wars, and it was literally just people fighting. And sometimes you'd be inside of a town, which is supposed to be the safe place, but though the only exception to the no PvP inside of towns is if you're at war with their guild. And so there'd just be massive wars happening, and you'd be at the bank trying to of course you could go buy something from the vendor and there's people dying all around you. That was awful. I remember back then being like, I have no interest, none whatsoever, in getting involved in guild warfare. Like, what's the point in that? It's kind of like playing Call of Duty, just deathmatch over and over and over again.
Which is fun, but over time, man, that shit gets
for a short amount of time.
Right. That's why there's so many Call of Duties, right?
Yeah, I think having objectives in this sort of setting is good, especially if those objectives really make a turning point in that event.
Or an end point.
Yeah, or an end point where, if you do this, that's it. The game's over.
Right.
Because, I mean, even though you can be really good at PvP and you can just hack and slash anybody out of your way, you got to have something else there that, can really either fuck you or, make you the best in what you're doing right there. Because just hacking and slashing people, that's boring as shit. I hate doing that. It's the worst fucking thing you can do in PvP.
Yeah, it gets really repetitive really fast.
Mhm.
And there's no real skill involved too much. Objectives, spawn in the world based on the level of the guild war. So, well, the level of the guilds pretty much, but and the assets available to those guilds, whether it be a guild hall or a guild fortress, whatever's like the actual center point of the fight, where it's taking place type. There will be default objectives, and then there will be objectives that relate to the activities that a guild has participated in. For example, if a guild has recently become owners of a guild hall on a freehold, objectives might be related to capturing a quest item in or around the guild hall that is only visible to the warring guild. Capturing this objective may require channeling time. There might be objectives to steal one of the quest items that the guild may have received from completing a raid. There may be a bounty objectives to kill a particular guild member. The target may have increased damage mitigation and or health against the warring guild and can call for help.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so those are just some of the objectives that they've listed. I mean, they really can make whatever the hell they want.
Nope, that's pretty neat.
I do like that. I think Guild Wars will be fun. And that's what I mean about the other guild activities that we'll be doing with within the guild is a lot of Guild Wars.
Yeah, you're gonna like that's what's gonna happen is you're gonna have, like I said, the elite guilds fighting over castles, and the smaller or less elite guilds or less organized or whatever, however you want to put it,
right,
are going to be fighting each other in these wars. And if they're interesting and compelling like that, and there's different mechanics and it changes all the time and all that, yeah, that'd be a fun thing to do. Solve disputes that way and all kinds of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool.
Write some lore that way. I know a lot of role players. With our guild, that'd be fun to role play that out. Yeah, but I don't know. Like time spent not fighting sieges, can be spent doing this. But maybe the guilds or the bigger guilds that want those metropolis nodes, they like Guild Wars because people play Guild Wars instead of fighting them.
Right.
Something else to do. So with the Guild War mechanics, a Guild War declaration period occurs, objective-based components, victory and surrender conditions. Guilds may war multiple guilds/alliances at one time. So that's another cool thing too. And then Guild Wars operate outside of the PvP flagging system. But the cool thing with that is there's a lot of politics taking place, and alliances, say you're allianced with one guild or 3 guilds, but 2 of those other guilds are alliance with 2 other different alliances, because there's no number of an alliances you can be with guilds. You can have be an alliance with 10 different guilds, and they might conflict each other, and they might come to war with each other. And I think that's cool because you can kind of pick which side you want to be on.
Right. There's gonna be a lot of that where the different affiliations that you have are in conflict with one another, and you're gonna be having to either pick or just the seniority of it. Like, your node is so important, you'll never pick your religion over your node, for example. But it's gonna put you in that conflict where you're gonna have to decide who your loyalty lies with.
It's giving them a lot of options, And then he goes on to say that we're taking guild politics to a whole new direction in regards to playing those conflicts out. So I think they really want to emulate that for sure. So leadership tools, just on actual running the guild, you'll have some leadership tools, which is pretty nice. The developers are considering the following guild tools: recruitment tools, management tools, delegation tools, motivational systems, communication tools, guild alerts, board messages, in-game chats, calendars, rosters for raids and other things. Audit logs may be available to guild leaders and officers. Deposits and withdraws from the guild bank, promotions, kicks, and leaves. And then Stephen goes on to say, for me personally, being a guild leader of a very large guild, and he was, if you guys didn't know, I don't know if you knew this, Zill, but he was a very, He's the leader of a very large guild. These types of administration functions are lifesavers for guild leaders. Guild leaders are a very important part of the community for MMORPGs in general, and the reason for that is, think of it like a queen on the board. I bring order to the chaos. To a degree, guild leaders are the order to the chaos. They help organize. They do so through lieutenants. They delegation responsibilities. There are good leaders, there are bad leaders, but essentially it's a highly social environment. And if you can find a good guild, and that guild is augmented with the complementary services from that company, from the game itself, it is just that makes life easier and allows them to execute it better. So in my opinion, that is an important aspect. And that's Steven Sharif, guys. Yeah, I like how he actually holds guild leaders not accountable, but he lifts them up a little bit, because they need to be lifted up, because they're kind of going to be the ones that are the generals to this whole thing, to this whole game. And if it falls, then you're going to need those guys to support you. When I was reading that, I just thought of a cool alliance between like the good alliance. It's like Lord of the Rings, all the different races, all the good races come together to fight the orcs. And that's what I'm hoping it's going to be, dude. That'd be super fun.
Yeah, it could be something like that. I took a couple of things away from that. One, and this is just kind of anecdotal and kind of funny, but it was really funny that he specifically said that they bring order to the chaos. So the guild that I ran in SWTOR for so long was called Organized Chaos. And I used to tell the members of the guild all the time, this is y'all's guild. I just organized the chaos.
Right.
And that's exactly how I felt. Like all I did was try to bring a little bit of order to everything that was going on. So, cause it's just, if we had like 75 active people in that guild, and like, there's just interpersonal drama and raid teams succeeding and failing and needing new players, and like it's just nonstop, and so that's all I was doing was organization all the time.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty funny. But also I do like that they see the importance of guilds, and I've been saying variations of this for a long time, but my thoughts on MMOs just in general, especially when it comes to the casual player versus the hardcore player, is that the hardcore players are the ones who build the communities and keep them together, and the ones that keep the casuals playing. The casuals pay the bills because it's a much larger number of people. And he's right that there's so few people that are even willing to be the leaders, and then even fewer of those who are actually good at it. So it's going to be leading a guild in this game sounds particularly interesting and challenging, just given everything we know about it so far.
Yeah, dude, it does. It really does. But I do like how he's creating the necessary tools to make it easier, make our lives easier for sure.
Yeah. Why is it that games always release with just garbage ass UIs and systems for guilds?
They don't play the games, dude. That's probably why they don't. They've never ran the guild. They've never been down that route.
It seems like it don't matter what MMO you're talking about. When it launched, it had shit UI and systems in for the guild. There's been a couple that have released with pretty good guild systems, but and that's one of the things I'm really hoping is that when he finally releases this game and when it's time, that they don't cut corners there. Like we have really good tools in place for leadership of guilds, maintaining them, all the things that you listed there, the motivational systems. That's very interesting. I'm curious what exactly that means, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess the payouts, you could consider payouts being a motivational system.
Yeah, that could be. One thing I really hope is that they have some sort of integration, which would be nice. I mean, I don't necessarily need it, but it would be nice integration with Discord somewhere.
Right.
That'd be nice.
Or just my phone in general, so that people can they can tag you in Discord, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Discord.
I know.
Yeah, integration with Discord would be cool.
Just something. And they can integrate it with different platforms that other people use, other guilds use. I know they don't always use Discord, but I mean that'd be cool. So to move on real quick, so we got guild emblems. This is a pretty cool thing. I'll just touch on this lightly, but basically they're looking into offering guild emblems, custom guild emblems, so you can kind of upload your own guild emblem, which I think is fucking great. I don't know about you guys, but I love that.
I'm dubious.
Yeah, and how it's going to be displayed is on flags, guild halls, mount barding, sails, shields, cloaks, armor, and attachments. So if you guys don't know what mount barding is real quick, I know that I didn't know what that one was. It's basically armor for your mount, and you can do it that way. Apply it and take off different armor.
I can't wait to be running into town and there's a guy over there with a shield that has Iron Man on it or
No, I don't want that.
Goku or
I don't want
something.
that.
That's what's going to end up happening if they let people upload their own images to go on stuff.
That's true.
And that's like I try not to be a stickler about stuff like that, but it really does suck. Like I don't want to see Iron Man.
Yeah, dude, it doesn't make any sense, you know.
People are going to do it if they. Well, I mean, I guess if they have a some type of a review system where you have to submit it and it has to be approved before it can be uploaded.
Yeah.
But man, I guess if you make it where you have to be a fairly high level guild in order to even get to that, then you won't be getting inundated with those all the time. You might be able to get away with it. That might be just fine.
Well, they say an active GM staff monitors it as people upload it. So I mean,
okay, yeah,
I think that
there would have to be some type of moderation because the next thing you know, I can see a swastika just popping up on a daily.
Yes, well, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, but they go in to say like if you're gonna go that route, they'll ban your account. You know, so you're really jeopardizing your account if you just think you're trying to be funny. You know.
Right. But I am funny.
So there's a guild ladder. Guilds will be ranked based on their performance within guild wars and guild sieges, castle sieges. When the guild participates in guild wars or they participate in sieges, you'll be able to climb the ranks of your inter-guild ladder as well as you'll get bragging rights amongst your friends. So there's going to be some competitiveness along with guildies, you know, which I like because it kind of I feel drives motivation in my mind. If you're a PvP or even just as a guild, you know, you want to beat your friend.
It don't matter what you're doing. Yep.
Yeah. Crowdfunded guild rewards. So this was going back to the Kickstarter, but basically the rewards are still in for the guilds. Guild-themed character cloaks and cosmetic rewards are for the Leader of Men level from the Kickstarter and the summer crowdfunding campaigns, which don't know too much about that. If you did get that, good on you. That's cool. And then the last topic I wanted to talk about, which is pretty cool, but it's kind of stems away from guilds a little bit, but it's still it integrates with the guilds, is the share markets. And I've mentioned it already along the way, but I think this is pretty funny. But as nodes develop, player governments may open a stock exchange, also called stock markets or share markets, where players can buy and sell shares in nodes.
What?
Guilds and social organizations. So nodes, guilds, and social organizations. The value of stocks is influenced by world events and the performance of nodes, social organizations, or guilds. This is the elite get fucking eliter, dude. Hard metrics such as quest lines, nearby resources, citizen progression, and purchases of a local real estate will determine the value of purchasable shares. Sieges will halt trading or shares in a node. This opens up potential for economic sabotage. So there's another thing your friend can do. There is no regulatory commission to restrict the purchase of sale of stocks. Where do I?
There's no SEC. Okay.
Let's just put everything in the fucking game, Steven. Dude, I mean,
just make it a whole entire new fucking world for everybody. Just
yeah.
Add everything in. You felt that you weren't born in the right age. You're born in the right age.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Virtual world, baby. Just once this game goes VR, dude. See you later.
It's gonna turn into a literal full-time job with this because now people are just gonna sell in-game money for real money.
Yep.
Yeah, this gets into a whole host of shit
inside the game to people for real money.
Right. Yep.
Man,
Oh, that's insane.
What
man.
do you guys
That
want
freaking
this
stock market.
or what?
if that were a thing, if this were really a thing to come in and has potential, I'd quit my damn job and start doing that
Dude, you
instead.
can make some good. Imagine fucking making that money, dude, on those shares. You probably could, honestly.
Yeah, you probably could. I like the idea simply because it adds more opportunities for like we've said a couple times, political intrigue or just intrigue in general. Like, can you imagine, selling short on a specific node and then either you run the node or you pay the guy who runs the node some absurd amount of money to basically tank it, and so he starts giving out, like, he jacks up the tax rate really high so nobody will move there, and stuff like that. Like you could actually use bribery and stuff to
You could.
influence stock prices or whatever.
That's what
pretty
I-
cool.
I really feel like, also those guilds who are big into trading and everything like that are really going to stack up on this.
Yeah.
And those guilds right there are probably going to be the elite guilds.
Yeah, you're
Because
probably
they
right.
can
Because they could
pay
just
people
buy
to do what
everyone.
they'll just buy everybody, buy what they
Oh,
need and
fuck
what they
me.
want to protect themselves and to do other things that they want them to do, and that's it.
Yeah, that's cool. I like
So
the system.
welcome to Earth. This is
Yeah.
Join a guild. Get your shares
Yeah.
now. You
Yeah.
know? Oh, fuck. Yeah.
like GameStop all over again, guys.
Yeah,
Let's
dude.
go.
Let's.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. All right. Well,
That's crazy.
with that goes ahead and wraps us up. But do you guys have any other thing you want to
Wait
highlight?
a second. Well, hold on. Are there gonna be... hold on. I'm sorry. Are there going to be people who have YouTube channels dedicated to like speculation of the Vera stock market?
Probably.
Like that's all they do.
Just be like, oh, we're trading on the stock market.
The Vera one. Oh my goodness. Like
You got to be on this node at this server at this time to cash out.
goodness. That's just insanity. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your outro there.
No, you're right.
It just hit me like out of nowhere, and I was thinking about like there's going to be people that's going to be a niche. The people are going to be able to feel, they're going to be like, oh, hey, look, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and all I'm going to do is analyze and speculate on all the different nodes. He may just cover his server because he knows the information.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, that's going to happen. If they introduce this system, that's 100% going to happen. So, anyways,
dude, that's just like. I don't even want to like begin there, dude. I don't even know what I think about that. But anyways, so that's the guild, guys. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about the guilds or that we missed out, you think?
I don't think so. I think we're pretty in depth on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that is Project Creation. I'm Plate, your host, and we will see you later. Take care.
Bye, y'all.